Lauren, $40 million for them, but none for you, none for me, none for anybody, any of our viewers. What is this all about?
Well, this is about failed leadership. This is about a governor who thinks he is the governor for people from foreign countries. Right? First, we had hundreds of thousands of dollars taken from our employment security, given to foreigners. And by the way, there's FBI is getting involved in that. It appears to be an inside job. And then we have Jay Inslee earmarking $40 million to give away to more foreigners who are in Washington State illegally. But he's ignoring the people of Washington State, the citizens that he has sworn to protect and take care of as a governor. He's finding Washington citizens who don't follow his orders. The barber in Snohomish County fined $90,000.
Mm-hmm.
A Washington State citizen. He's been in business since the mid '60s, and because he's trying to work and cut one person's hair at a time, he's fined $90,000. But Jay Inslee is totally fine with handing out millions of dollars to people that are in this state illegally. And so he's all about foreign citizens and finding Washington State citizens. It's absolutely unacceptable. And that's one of the big reasons that he's going to be out of office come November.
So let's unpack this a little bit. So just to be clear, it wasn't hundreds of millions of dollars that was lost. It was $1 billion. Went to Nigeria, Nigerian princes dining on lobsters and steaks while Washington citizens go hungry. And you're right, there is an investigation, FBI investigation now into that. You just can't lose $1 billion. Well, I guess Congress does it all the time and they don't investigate that. However, in this environment, you lose $1 billion goes to Nigeria. It's going to get the attention of somebody there at the federal level. $40 million. This came from federal money, if I'm not mistaken, federal money, and he's giving that to illegal aliens who are here illegally. And we hear every day, Loren, from voters who write into the campaign and they ask if there's anything that we can do, if we have any leverage with the state to try to get them to pay them their benefits. And it's August 19th. And these people, this entire thing started back in March.
Yeah. Where's the help for Washington State citizens? Where's the help for the taxpayers that fund all of this? It doesn't make any sense. If you want to help the citizens of Washington State, which obviously Jay Inslee doesn't care about, but it's just another sign of his failed leadership. I have spent my entire life in leadership roles. First in the United States military as a sergeant, and then running my own business for over 20 years in the Olympia area, and then 10 years as a police officer and 4 years as a chief of police. I know how to lead. I know how to manage people. Jay Inslee has been an ambulance chaser and then a career politician. Never built anything himself. He's been living off the taxpayers, and now he doesn't care. He doesn't know what it's like to run a small business in this state, and he obviously doesn't care. $40 million, that would go a long way to helping these businesses that have shut down, the families that have lost their life savings, that have lost their income, to the people who have not gotten their unemployment checks. But he cares about people from foreign countries more than he does the taxpayers of Washington State, the people that he is supposed to be in office to represent. It's very, very sad. And it just makes me want all that much more to kick him out of office in a big way come November.
And it seems political. It really does. There's this is another example of a failed governor who has made a career of picking winners and losers. And this is just another example of that. These people get to win while these people get to lose. And he's going to use it as political leverage. We know that. We know that, at some point, maybe people start getting their checks right around voting time. And it's just disgusting how this governor is playing politics with people's livelihoods, Loren.
Well, yeah, he is. You know, he picked winners and losers with the COVID shutdown. You know,
Sure did.
deciding that which businesses could open, which could close. The thing that I've been saying all along on the campaign trail is that that virus does not know which buildings it can go into and which it can't. You know, Jay Inslee makes these stupid rules based on what he thinks. That doesn't make any sense, you know, and then find barbershops that cut one person's hair at a time, but you can go into a big box store with hundreds of people, you know.
According to him,
and the truth,
according to him, it's the science.
right? Yeah, everything's based on science. Well, we know now that over 60% of the deaths came through nursing homes.
Yeah.
You know, where was the protection for them, right?
Yep.
That was the first reported cases was from a nursing home. And we find out now that over 60% of the deaths were from nursing homes in this state. You know, where's the protection for those people? But he's got his departments out running around, finding a barbershop and cutting one person's hair at a time, leaving big box stores open while businesses go out of business all over the state. And they're not coming back. You know, that's people's livelihood. That's people's income. And he doesn't care. Yeah, they're life savings. He doesn't care about the hardworking citizens of Washington State. They're allowing, you know, it's basically like they opened up the safe and turned off the security cameras and allowed foreigners to take money out of the employment security. And now he wants to turn right around and not help Washington citizens, but turn over $40 million that the federal government is giving Washington State, turn it over to more foreigners. It's like, who's he governor of? Is he a governor of Washington State, or is he governor of foreign people?
So let me ask you a question. So Governor Culp is in Olympia, and he's sitting in the governor's office, and he gets a phone call that says that the unemployment agency has been robbed. They don't know how much. They know it probably amounts right now to in the tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions. What does a Governor Culp do to the director of unemployment, of the unemployment agency?
That's the funny thing. You know, the person in charge of that agency is still there working. That cannot happen. You know, the blunder started when they lifted the restrictions on people applying for unemployment, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've been an employer. I've been an employee. I've been on both sides of the unemployment. And so they had safeguards in place. They've had safeguards in place forever. You know, and an employee applies for unemployment, and then the unemployment security department checks to make sure that they have been employed in Washington State. They send a notice to the employer who verifies that, yes, this person worked there. Yes, they are unemployed now. And then they approve the benefits. They took down all the safeguards, and it looks like even more. You know, this was an inside job from all indications. And because of it, the taxpayers, you know, Jay Inslee is going to turn right around and say, well, we need to raise taxes to take care of this, while the person in charge of that department is still there, still getting a check. And Jay Inslee is still getting a check. It's incompetence. It's a lack of leadership.
So after the election in November and you win, you get sworn in January, you're going to have one heck of a mess on your hands. What are some next steps that you're going to take just regarding this issue? Let's just take this one issue. I mean, we've got a lot of shows to do, right? So we can discuss solutions for all the different problems, but just this one problem here, you know, how do we correct this? How do we fix it?
You put people in charge of the departments. That's going to happen, you know, first thing. I'm going to have people already vetted. As soon as we win the election in November, I'm going to go to work on the people that I'm going to appoint to the department heads. And they're going to have the same mindset that I do about government, that it is there to serve the citizens of Washington State, right? That's the main reason that we have a government, is to take care of, serve the citizens, right? It says in Article 1, Section 1 that the power is inherent in the people and government is there to protect citizens' rights. And so I'm going to put department heads in place that have that same mindset that I do, that government is a servant of the citizens, not our master. And this FBI investigation, if it's not over, we are going to fully participate in that and get it done, find out what exactly happened, who's responsible, and that department head is going to be replaced, obviously, day one.
You know, one of the frustrations with a lot of voters at the federal level, Loren, and you and I have talked about this privately in our conversations, is that there doesn't seem at the federal level to be a lot of accountability for the things that people do, right? Mrs. Clinton loses 33,000 emails. They're on an unsecured server that with classified information. If you or I had done anything even remotely similar to that, we would not only be in jail for the rest of this lifetime, but if reincarnation is true, then we would probably be in jail for the next 4 or 5 lifetimes. And it just doesn't seem like there's a lot of accountability. Are you going to be an accountability governor who will hold these people accountable for squandering money, dirty dealing, and just the incompetence, that the gross negligence that really crosses the criminal line?
Well, yeah, it happens all the time in all levels of government. You know, corruption is rampant in government, has been for decades. We see the finger pointing, you know, at our president for saying, you know, with the Russia collusion. And come to find out, the truth is coming out now. There wasn't any. And it was the Democrats' operatives, including Clinton, that was working with some false information to get President Trump out of office. Sure. So yeah, I'm going to deal with any kind of corruption that we come across in the state government. I believe in law and order. I believe in accountability, and it will end when I'm governor. People will be held accountable.
And I think that that's really key, because there has to be accountability if you're going to have a government that actually works for the people. There can't be this criminal mindset that people can use the taxpayer dollars as, you know, special interest piggy bank. They can just reach in there anytime they feel, and they do it with impunity. They do it. They don't even believe that they're going to be, you know, there's no consequences. I think you holding people accountable for that, for their actions, is going to go a long way towards cleaning up what is going on, and maybe put the fear of God in some people that maybe they should stop doing the things that they're doing.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's a clear choice. You know, come November, there is definitely a clear choice. If people like what's going on in Washington State, if they like all of this money, all of this taxpayer money going to people from foreign countries, if they like the riots going on in Seattle, if they like the drug abuse, dirty needles, tent cities, if they like all of that stuff, if they like our forest lands not being managed properly and catastrophic wildfires, if they like not having salmon for our fishing industry and for our enjoyment of Washington State citizens, if they like being locked down, if they like being told that they're going to wear a mask until Jay Inslee says there's a vaccine, then if they like all of that stuff, then vote for Jay Inslee. But if you want that fixed, then it's clear that I'm the person that is going to see that gets done. You know, I care about this state. I grew up in this state. I raised my kids in this state. And I want to see it the way that it was when I was growing up and when my kids were growing up. I don't like what's going on in this state at all. And we need to fix it. And it just takes someone that has a backbone to stand up against all of this corruption, all of this crime. And I will do that.